Hi, I'm Beats. I love Dragon Quest. Japan loves Dragon Quest. Japan especially loves the women in Dragon Quest. That's because the women in Dragon Quest have a lot to love about them. The women in Dragon Quest are so popular that in Japan, some of the characters are recognizable even amongst fans who aren't fans of Dragon Quest. Why don't Westerners like the women in Dragon Quest? Well, that's because Dragon Quest is a Japanese role-playing game for big nerds. I'm going to talk about my favorite women in Dragon Quest. I'm not going to talk about all the women in Dragon Quest. I'm just going to talk about some of the women I think are the most outstanding, some of the most interesting, and why they are my favorite. So I might not talk about every game in the Dragon Quest series because some games, like the original Dragon Quest, relegate the Lady Laura to a purely supporting role, only to be saved by the hero and carried around all over the place like a cool girl. Dragon Quest III was the first time Dragon Quest artist Akira Toriyama was really allowed to run away with his designs. This game allowed you to choose the entire composition of your party. So naturally you can make a party of all women, and you should have because they're the best. They can equip bikinis. That's cool. Since he had so much freedom, I really think that the character designs in this game are top notch. You had the nice fit warrior, the fierce yet cute martial artist, the priestess, who's sexy, and the first dark-skinned character in the series, the thief. I had it only in the Super Famicom version, by extension the Game Boy, and by super extension the butt-ugly phone version of said game. They're great designs. Some of Toriyama's best in the entire series. However, your party didn't talk to you. But what Famicom game did at the time? This is the first time you could also choose the gender of your own player character. So you can be female. However, every official art ever of this game will show the hero as male. Which is, I'm male. It would have been nice to acknowledge the female option once in a while. Dragon Quest III also has the first and only major female villain in Princess Himiko. The cat is gonna knock over the camera. Dragon Quest V is about a young boy who grows up and starts his own family eventually. The game presents you with two women, Bianca and Nera. Bianca you meet as a child and grows up with you. You go on adventures together, fight ghosts and save a saber-toothed tiger cub. You spend a lot of the game with Bianca, but there's another girl, Nera,
enter a new challenger,
who says, "My fiancé is so worthless, please do this quest for me." And then she also falls in love with you. The game does it. When you finally finish the quest for Nera, she points out that the woman beside you, Bianca, looks like she has feelings for you. I really like this about Nera. She says what's on her mind and is not afraid to make the situation uncomfortable. However, you spend the entire game with Bianca. There's a lot of dialogue between you two, and I really like that. You become really close to this girl. The game does a really good job of making you feel close to both of these women actually, something that I can't say for a lot of characters in video games. It's important to mention that in the PS2 and DS versions of this game, there is a party chat feature. That means that after every room in a dungeon, after you talk to an NPC, or after anything happens at all, you may talk to your party and they have something to comment on that thing. That means when you're out adventuring with Bianca, you can talk to her anytime you want to see how she feels. There is no right choice in this video game for who you should marry. You end up with a lot of fond memories of you and Bianca. However, Nera is extremely neat and forward with her feelings, and that is something I greatly admire in characters. Especially in real life. Whoever you choose becomes a long-life party member. You will start a family with them, and eventually you will all go together to fight the final boss. This is really special and unique, and I don't think any other video games have done it quite like this before. The fact that both women are such well-developed characters makes the right choice unclear, but that's what makes them so appealing. Also, they're the only women in Dragon Quest that have canonically had sex. Heck yeah. I want to bring up Dragon Quest Monsters 2 for a second, and this is the only time I'll bring up a spin-off. Dragon Quest Monsters 2 is one of the first video games I ever owned. Actually, it's the second video game I've ever owned. I like it a lot. There are two versions of this game, Kobe's Adventure and Tara's Adventure or whatever. I picked Tara's Adventure because the kid in my school said, "You have to pick up this video game, Dragon Quest Monsters 2, Tara's Adventure." And when I went to the video game store with my mom, they said, "Do you want this one?" And I said, "No, it's not the one." Dragon Quest Monsters 2, Tara's Adventure. Oh, I'm sorry, it's actually Dragon Warrior Monsters 2, Tara's Adventure. Dragon Warrior Monsters 2, Tara's Adventure features the only singular female protagonist in a video game that's Dragon Quest titled. And that's really cool, and that stayed with me my entire life and taught me to like Dragon Quest and respect women.
Not everybody hates you.
Now, everyone hates me. Dragon Quest VIII has extremely good characters. Most of all, Jessica and Medea. I might mention some spoilers. Please don't hate me, like the rest of my friends do, currently. Jessica is a hard-headed girl who sets off on a quest of revenge after the evil Dulmagus kills her brother. This is pretty cool because Jessica never really strays from her path of revenge, even after the evil Dulmagus dies by your hand. Even if you don't completely agree with her plight personally, it's hard not to admire her vigilance. Dragon Quest VIII also has a party chat system. You can talk to Jessica after every small event. I like this. This makes me like Jessica a lot. Jessica also happens to be one of the most popular characters in Dragon Quest as a whole. I don't know why. Medea is a princess who turned into a horse. I like her as a horse. Here's the spoilery part, I guess. Once you take her to a magical spring, her true form is revealed, and she talks to you a lot. I like this. A lot of players might never come back to this spring again, but if you keep coming back to this spring, after every small event, you can basically have another party chat with Medea. I like talking to Medea. She's your friend. I love her. You find out that you two are close childhood friends, and I don't even know what else to say. I really like to get to know this character, who for most of the game has been a horse. She also appeared to you in her dreams through some magic from the spring water, I suppose. Video game logic.
Is that you? Is it really you? What do you think it means, us meeting like this?
I found Medea so earnest and endearing that I just could not wait to fall asleep. In-game. Everything is optional. And only truly experienced Dragon Quest players like myself would fully appreciate the thousands of hours I spent talking to a horse. Dragon Quest IV gave us Elena, who is just the best. Dragon Quest IV is still a game for the Famicom, so dialogue and combat are kinda minimum. However, this is what kinda makes Dragon Quest IV so interesting. Elena's personality and background don't come from the dialogue alone, but rather you have to kinda dig in, get some big clues from the designs and whatever. For example, look, she looks like a mage. I like this mage girl from Dragon Quest III. However, Elena goes against her father's wishes when he says, "You have to stay inside because it's dangerous," and instead goes off to wander the world, punching enemies in the face and running away from nerds and such. No one in the game ever mentions that Elena was supposed to be a wizard, but you can tell just from a few context clues. For example, her retainers, Christo and Bray, are both magic users and are at her side at all times. Although they don't attempt to stop Elena in her big journey adventure, they are magic and such and follow her everywhere. Based on her appearance alone and the fact that her retainers are magic users, you can conclude that Elena is probably supposed to be brought up as a magician, but because she's really awesome, she is a puncher girl. Elena is an anomaly in Dragon Quest games, for despite being on ancient hardware, Elena remains one of the most interesting and complex characters in the series. She's not only a hot-headed punchy woman, she also cares deeply for her father and her companions. For example, when her friend Christo is sick, she runs off in a panic looking for the cure. I love Elena. A lot. And so does all of Japan. And maybe some Westerners who play Dragon Quest Heroes. I really like this background that I have to piece together about what Elena exactly is. Why her father thinks that she's a defenseless woman, and why she looks like a wizard and has instead the highest damage output in the game. She doesn't even equip weapons, which is kinda cool. Dragon Quest XI was just released this year, July 29, 2017. Dragon Quest XI has a lot of characters. They look cool, but I can't say much about them, because I haven't played it yet, because I'm a stupid weeb and I don't know how Japan goes. But I'll just go over them real quick because I love them. There's the beautiful and neat Senya, who is like a white mage or something. Then there's the cute and short Veronica, who has this really cute dance. And then there's the awesome Martina, who like punches and has... Oh, I love her hair and I want to marry her. All I gotta do is look at these characters just once, and I can see that their personality is brimming from their characters' outlines. I really like it. How does Toriyama do that? I'm gonna go blind looking at these characters a second longer. I'm becoming a nerd. I like Martina a lot. Because, she kicks people. So thank you for listening to me talk about women I find interesting in Dragon Quest. There's a lot more women in Dragon Quest. And if I didn't talk about your favorite, that doesn't mean I didn't like them. That just means I didn't want to talk about them because I
Yeah,
want.
what about female slime?
I'm sorry, there's the female slime. I love her. If you have other characters that I missed, like the female slime, please write it down in the comments below. I'm Pete, and thank you for watching ObaboJagga. I'm making another video. It will also have girls. Please look forward to it.
ObaboJagga.